In the 174 episode plot of Swallowed Star, Luo Feng judged the Blood Demon King, beheaded the two immortal gods, and 19 realm masters were forced to judge their father. After Luo Feng completed the first 2 ring missions, immediately after, his third ring mission began arranged by the Virtual Universe Company. He entered the lair of the Blood Demon King and judged the Blood Demon King and others in public. Although there are hundreds of immortal gods under the command of the Blood Demon King, 21 of them have committed serious crimes, including 2 immortal gods and 19 realm masters, slaughtering the life of the galaxy and planet, plundering the population, gathering tens of billions of girls, and performing crazy blood demon rituals. All kinds of evil deeds are heinous. The Virtual Universe Company ordered the Blood Demon King to capture these 21 people and imprison them on the Blood Demon Star. But the task of judging these villains fell to Luo Feng. 6 days later, Luo Feng and his party arrived at the Blood Demon Star, the planet shrouded in blood-red mist, like a hideous wound in the universe. When the black spaceship landed in the square of the Blood Demon Palace, they were greeted by the cold eyes of thousands of powerful people. The Blood Demon King was dressed in scarlet battle armor. Although he converged his breath, it was difficult to hide the coercion of the Blood Sea. There was a hidden edge in his forthright greeting. The trial had not yet begun, and an invisible game was already surging in the air. The old man with white eyebrows deliberately emphasized Luo Feng's right to rule, while the Blood Demon King tested the bottom line with laughter. The seemingly polite dialogue between the two sides was actually the collision of the will of the Virtual Universe Company and the lone strongman. Luo Feng knew that every penalty he received would be interpreted as an attitude. A light sentence might become a symbol of compromise of rights, and a heavy sentence would inevitably offend the immortality of the king, laying hidden dangers for the future. This moment. As soon as Luo Feng stepped into the Blood Demon Palace, he was shrouded in the invisible coercion of hundreds of immortal gods and thousands of world masters of the Blood Demon King. However, Luo Feng, who had experienced the coercion of the immortal elite legion under the command of His Holiness the Nine Swords and the coercion of the furious Fire Eater, was not frightened by this formation. He knew that this was the power given to him by the Blood Demon King. Dylan beside him also transmitted the sound in time, reminding him to keep a low profile and bear with him for the time being. Luo Feng knew it in his heart. The Blood Demon King enthusiastically took Luo Feng's hand and invited everyone into the Blood Demon Palace. He proudly introduced to Luo Feng that the main body of this Blood Demon Palace was an ancient and dilapidated palace discovered in the secret realm of the universe in a distant star domain. It was only after the repair and decoration of tens of millions of mixed element units that it was able to be renewed. The old man with white eyebrows and wings saw that this palace was not only a residence, but also a fortress with stronger defense and combat capabilities than an F-9 class spaceship. The Blood Demon King laughed happily after listening. As soon as everyone entered the palace, the Blood Demon King ordered 3 immortal gods to bring up 21 sinners. This move surprised Luo Feng secretly, and the situation seemed to become tense in an instant. However, the Blood Demon King's painting style changed, expressing his admiration for Luo Feng's teacher, King Jinyan, and he regarded himself as an elder, saying that he was not in a hurry to judge sinners. He had prepared a banquet for Luo Feng and brought everyone to the banquet hall. In the exquisite small banquet hall, a table of luxurious food worth 100,000 yuan is staggering. Delicacies such as dragon liver and flame blood Ganoderma lucidum of the demon steel spirit dragon are expensive even in the virtual universe. The Blood Demon King boldly stated that he was very happy to see Luo Feng, and this cost was nothing. But Luo Feng and Dylan knew in their hearts that the Blood Demon King spent so much money not just for hospitality, but to save the lives of the 2 immortal gods. He wanted to use this luxurious banquet to make Luo Feng have scruples in the subsequent trial. After all, cannibalism has a soft mouth and short hands. Facing the food, the 3 of them, the old man with white eyebrows and wings, ate without hesitation and praised them. This made Luo Feng very annoyed and felt that they were making trouble with themselves. Under the expectant eyes of the Blood Demon King, Luo Feng had to move his chopsticks for a while, so he stopped eating on the grounds of worrying about the task. At this moment, the outer banquet hall became noisy. Through the gate, everyone saw 21 strong men bound in chains, 2 of whom exuded the breath of the law immortal gods, bound by chains with complex seals. When the 2 immortal gods saw the Blood Demon King, they immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. They knew that this catastrophe was imminent and their lives were in danger. The Blood Demon King pretended to be angry and then pushed the decision to Luo Feng, and the 2 immortal gods turned to Luo Feng to beg. Luo Feng keenly realized that what the Blood Demon King really wanted to keep were these 2 immortal gods, and the 19 realm masters were at his disposal. The Blood Demon King walked up to the 2 immortal gods, sighed faintly, expressed his unwillingness, and returned to the banquet hall, allowing Luo Feng to give the 2 of them a glimmer of life as much as possible while complying with the company's orders. These words seemed euphemistic, but in fact they were expressing Luo Feng, hoping that he would give himself a face and let these 2 immortal gods go. The atmosphere in the banquet hall was suppressed and almost solidified. Luo Feng's gaze was like a sharp blade hardened with ice, fixed on the 21 sinners in front of him, raging anger surging in his eyes. The actions of these 21 people have already broken through the restrictions and bottom lines jointly established by the 5 major forces, such as the Virtual Universe Company, and this may just be the tip of the iceberg of their evil deeds. Luo Feng gave a cold shout, "Okifi!" The voice exploded in the banquet hall like thunder, echoing constantly. The savage man with golden hair and kneeling on the ground raised his head when he heard the sound. His face was full of fear and begging for mercy. His mouth opened and closed, but he couldn't utter a complete plea for mercy. Luo Feng's eyes were cold. How could he forget that this person performed a blood demon ritual, causing tens of billions of girls to die tragically, building a sea of blood, and ignoring the desperate calls for help of countless lives? At this moment, Luo Feng did not hesitate to sentence him to death. Before the voice fell, there was a roar, and the old man with white eyebrows and wings, who was originally smiling at the table, rushed into the banquet hall like a flash of lightning and stood behind 21 people. He waved a palm that condensed the power of immortality at will and slapped Okifi in despair. In an instant, Okifi's whole body turned into flesh mud, the world in his body collapsed, and the scattered items disappeared. The old man with white eyebrows and wings smiled and explained to the angry immortal gods and thousands of world masters around him that the Virtual Universe Company had long ordered that once Luo Feng was sentenced to death, he would execute him. Although everyone secretly hated it in their hearts, they could only dare to be angry when they heard the name of the Virtual Universe Company. The Blood Demon King sat calmly aside and snorted coldly, telling everyone not to disturb Luo Feng's trial, emphasizing that Luo Feng was in charge of the life and death of these 21 people. After being confirmed, Luo Feng continued the trial, his eyes falling on the lean and bristly world Lord Koski. Kasai's body trembled slightly, and he looked at Luo Feng with begging eyes, but he still couldn't get a trace of mercy. "Death penalty," Luo Feng said coldly. Almost at the same time, the old man with white eyebrows and wings slapped him. Kasai was also shot into meat mud, and the relics were scattered all around. Immediately afterwards, the sound of death penalty sentences continued to ring in the banquet hall, and one realm lord after another was shot to death in despair. Their relics and even spaceships piled up more and more, gradually forming a hill. The 19 consecutive death penalty trials caused the eyes of hundreds of immortal gods present to breathe fire, and thousands of world masters gritted their teeth. Even the evil aura emanating from the Blood Demon King's body became stronger and stronger. However, these dead were only the realm masters. He was still holding back, secretly speculating in his heart whether Luo Feng had the courage to attack the remaining 2 immortal gods. Of the kneeling people, only the immortal gods Aesop and Applerad were left, When Luo Feng read out Aesop's name, Lim Mong flashed in his eyes. These two immortal gods have long regarded themselves as beings above human beings, slaughtering and ravaging human beings, and treating life as grass mustard. I sentence you to death. A firm voice fell. Aesop suddenly raised his head, his eyes full of madness. He turned into a streamer and rushed to Luo Feng, roaring, "Luo Feng is not qualified to kill me." The complexion of the old man with white eyebrows and wings suddenly changed, and he hurriedly rushed to stop him, but a big bloody palm was shot first, turning Aesop into dust in an instant, and the soul mark was completely broken, and there was no place to bury him. Everyone was shocked, and it was the Blood Demon King who made the move. The Blood Demon King shouted angrily. Aesop collided with the personnel sent by the Virtual Universe Company. It's not a pity to die. Urging Luo Feng to continue the trial of Appleyard, he also specifically emphasized the word fairness. Facing Appleyard, the entire banquet hall was silent, and everyone's eyes were focused on Luo Feng. The Blood Demon King's body was surging with evil spirits, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. I sentence you to death. Luo Feng's voice was calm and determined. Appleyard let out a desperate howl. The prepared old man with white eyebrows and wings, holding a giant scimitar, instantly swept through countless blades, cutting Appleyard into 10,000 immortal divine powers. Under the strangulation, his soul was scattered. At this time in the banquet hall, no one could laugh out loud. Soon the gods were angry. The world masters gritted their teeth, and the Blood Demon King slapped the table with a slap, sneering at Luo Feng's fair punishment, and then turned into a bloody afterimage and left. After the old man with white eyebrows and wings confirmed that the task was completed, he also chose to leave. Luo Feng took Dylan quickly aboard the Meteorite Astra spacecraft and entered the Dark Universe. Leaving the control room of the spacecraft, Dylan and Barbada couldn't help complaining. The Blood Demon King demoted himself to hospitality and prepared a feast, but Luo Feng executed all 21 people. This was undoubtedly a severe blow to the Blood Demon King's face, but Luo Feng was smiling. He had already seen through that this was a test mission given to him by the Virtual Universe Company. It was insulting the Blood Demon King and putting him in danger, but he understood that being a human being can bend and stretch, but he cannot blindly bend and seek perfection. When the Blood Demon King did not dare to do it easily, he chose to stick to justice that he firmly believes that without the courage to face danger, he is not worthy of becoming a strong man. After completing the trial of the 21 sinners of Blood Demon Star, Luo Feng's seemingly calm performance made Dylan worried. Dylan bitterly reminded that the path of the strong is full of crises. Although Dylan is currently the master of the realm, he is protected by the Order of the Ancestor. But once Luo Feng is promoted to the master of the realm, many adventures prohibit the guards from following. At that time, the Blood Demon King who will avenge him is likely to start secretly, causing Luo Feng to fall into a life-and-death crisis, but no one knows. In the face of Dylan's concerns, Luo Feng only responded calmly, and he understood, in fact, Luo Feng had already calculated in his heart that when he was promoted to the peak of the World Lord, he would be able to obtain 50 million mixed yuan units. This huge wealth will be used to purchase precious items, whether it is to cultivate the supreme heaven and earth or to help the demon cloud vine evolve into immortality. He has outlined a set of plans to strengthen himself, determined to make himself an immortal Xiaoqiang with a strong life-saving ability. At this time, Babata reminded that an email came, and Luo Feng guessed that it was the news of the completion of the task. He clicked on the email and found that the completion of the third ring task was as high as 100%. He could get 300,000 points, and he was eligible to start the fourth ring task. This result shocked both him and Babata. He thought the completion level would be relatively high, but he didn't expect to reach a full score. After checking the comments, Luo Feng understood the reason. Luo Feng explained to Babata that the essence of the highest points task of the Virtual Universe Company is to screen subordinates who are loyal and can resolutely complete the task. Those who retreat when they encounter danger and cannot perform the task effectively do not meet the requirements that if he spared the two immortal gods during the trial, the completion of the task would be less than 80%, and his current approach has achieved a perfect 100%. Immediately after Babata's reminder, Luo Feng clicked on the fourth ring mission email, as the last link of the highest points task. This task has a huge impact on the final additional points reward, and its importance is self-evident. The background of the mission mentioned that with the rise of Luo Feng, the status of the Luo family has risen, with more than 1 million family members. It is difficult to fully monitor, and the appearance of moths is inevitable. The content of the task was actually to let Luo Feng try the 21 members of the Luo family who were found guilty. The results of the trial included the death penalty and prison, as well as 100 years of prison and 10,000 years of innocence. If he is convicted of the death penalty, he still needs to execute it himself. When he saw the list, Luo Feng's face was instantly livid. Most of the people on the list were his descendants. What made him even more angry was that his father Luo Hongwo was also on the list. His father Luo Hongwo was addicted to virtual games all day long, and the so-called crime was very far-fetched. Luo Feng knew his father was a human being and understood that his father was just being used by others. With the investigative capabilities of the Virtual Universe Company, he could fully find out the truth, but deliberately did not provide detailed information. Looking at this list, Luo Feng smashed his desk angrily. He understood that this was a problem deliberately set by the Virtual Universe Company, putting him in a dilemma. Babata couldn't help but ask, how should he judge these people who were connected to his bloodline?